We use the internet literally every day, right? But have you ever stopped to think about how it actually really works? Well, in this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain on our digital world. And you might be surprised to find out it's less about magic and way more about some incredible real-world engineering. I mean, think about it. You're on a video call, talking to someone on the other side of the planet, and it's instant. How is that even possible? How does your voice travel thousands of miles in the blink of an eye? It feels like magic, doesn't it? Well, the answer is a brilliant and very physical system. So, to wrap our heads around this, let's start with a really simple idea. Just imagine the entire internet is one giant, sprawling city that covers the whole globe. Okay, so in this massive city, every single device, your phone, your laptop, even your smart TV is basically a house. It's a specific location, a destination on a map. Now, a city of houses is pretty useless if they aren't connected, right? You need roads. And in our internet city, those roads and highways are the actual physical cables and wireless signals that connect everything. We are talking about real, tangible stuff. And what's driving on these roads? In a regular city, it's cars or mail trucks. On the internet, it's your data. Every photo you post, every email you send gets broken down into these tiny little digital vehicles we call data packets.
Of course, a city this huge can't just be a free-for-all. That would be chaos. It needs rules. It needs street signs, traffic cops. Basically, it needs a postal service to make sure everything gets to the right place. And that's the logic running underneath the whole internet.
And the most important rule of any postal service? You need an address. Just like your house, every single device online has its own unique IP address. Without that, a data packet would be like a letter with no address on it. Totally lost. So who's reading the address on that packet? That's the job of a router. Think of routers as the traffic police or the mail sorters of the internet. They sit at every intersection, look at the destination on each packet, and point it in the right direction for the next leg of its journey. And this is where it gets really cool. A huge file, like a movie you're streaming, isn't sent as one big chunk. No way! It's chopped up into thousands of these tiny, individually addressed packets. They all get sent out, and they might even take completely different routes to get there, before being perfectly reassembled on the other end. It's kind of like sending a book one page at a time in thousands of separate envelopes.
Okay, so we've got our houses, our roads, addresses, and traffic cops. Let's put it all together. Let's actually follow a simple message as it travels from your phone to a friend halfway across the world.
You send an Instagram message. Boom. It leaves your phone, hits your home's Wi-Fi router. From there, it travels to your internet provider. Then, a whole series of routers pass it along, like a relay race, across networks, maybe across the country, or even through massive cables under the ocean, all to get to Instagram's main computers. And then, that server does the whole thing in reverse to get the message to your friend's phone. And all of that happens in less than a second? It's wild. And speaking of those undersea cables, this is probably the most surprising fact of all. How does all that data get across oceans? Most people think satellites, right? Nope. Get this. Over 95% of all international internet traffic travels through massive, physical fiber optic cables laid on the bottom of the ocean. Yeah, really. And knowing that little fact that the internet is physically wired together under the sea helps us bust some really common myths. So let's do a quick, rapid-fire round. Okay, myth number 1, the big one. The internet is just a wireless cloud floating around us. The reality? The internet is a very, very physical thing. Its backbone is a global network of hundreds of thousands of miles of actual cables connecting continents. Next up, the idea that Wi-Fi is the internet. Well, in reality, Wi-Fi is more like your driveway. It's just that short wireless connection from your house, your device, to the main road, which is your local router. The real journey starts from there. And finally, let's bust that myth that your data travels as one big clean file. Remember our digital postal service? Nope. Everything, and I mean everything, gets chopped into tiny packets that travel on their own and get put back together at the end. All right, let's just take one step back and look at the big picture, putting all these pieces together one last time so it really sticks. So here it is in a nutshell. Every device online has a unique IP address. Routers are the traffic cops that direct all the information. That info travels in tiny packets, and huge undersea cables connect all the different countries. At its heart, the internet is just a massive network of other networks all talking to each other. You know, if you take just one thing away from all of this, let it be this thought. The internet is basically a global postal service for computers, using real cables and routers to deliver tiny digital letters all over the world.
So we figured out the how, but knowing the physical truth of the internet, well, it leaves us with a much bigger, kind of mind-blowing question. What does it actually mean that our entire global society, our economy, our connections, all of it, relies on a few hundred physical cables sitting at the bottom of the deep, dark ocean? It's really something to think about.